Red hot comic book movie news. Defenders of the Earth. Defenders. The Weekly Planet. The Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Weekly Planet.
Oh, yeah.
Where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. My name is James. Hey, stop. My name is James, also known as Mr.
Well, when do
Sunday.
when's my chance to speak?
I mean, you'll get a chance when I point to you.
When? When's that? Oh, you've done it.
I didn't make, that was it for example.
Oh.
And these ones that I'm
How
doing.
do I know when the point is the official
My thumb
point?
will go up.
How about you point and then you point with your other hand, you point to the point so I know.
Okay,
and then I can start talking.
Okay, all right.
All right.
So shut up, all right?
All right, I'll shut up.
Where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday. With me, as always, my co-host Nick Mason. Point 1, point 2.
Nice.
Hello.
It's great to be here.
You ruined that.
I thought it was good. Long-time listeners will find it delightful. New listeners have already switched off.
Impenetrable.
That's right.
And you're right.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to change the theme song to audio to music only next year.
Huh.
We're going to do that.
Wow.
It's going to be a cool thing.
Nice.
cool
Just a cool thing?
It's a cool thing.
You're going to figure out what the coolest genre of music is and just
Absolutely.
get some free YouTube library music.
Yep.
Okay,
exactly.
that's great. I love that. I'm looking forward
It's
to
that song that goes.
that song, yeah.
If you know, you know.
You know.
All right,
That's
Mason.
one of Claire's songs. Oh, can we get Claire to write
We probably could.
get her to write a theme?
Yeah, we probably could
Nice,
actually.
nice.
Yeah.
Then
Maybe
we bring
will.
her on and we make fun of her for doing something earnest.
We could definitely do that.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, Mason. This week we've got a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah.
We're going to get to Godzilla Minus One. Time code's below if you do want to jump straight to that or anything. We're going to talk about, oh no, the Christmas box office season could be in trouble.
Oh, no.
That's right.
Is that part of our segment, Oh No, That's Devastating News?
Yeah, okay, we can do
Okay,
that.
terrific. All right.
Zack Snyder's been running around saying some stuff, so I thought, let's talk about some of that stuff. I
Okay,
reckon.
you can clear it up because I saw some of that and there was a lot of debate raging over he said something and he replied to somebody's question, but what was he actually referring to?
I don't know any of that.
Oh,
I
then
just picked out some things
and
that
it's
I
going to
thought.
remain a mystery, I think.
We might have a writer for the next Avengers movies.
Man, I've cut my finger open.
Is it quite severe?
It's long.
It's,
a
you know what it
long
is?
slice.
It's the bottle cap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Betrayal.
Yeah.
Wow.
You happy with that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all.
We've got a normal men update. I've got 3 normal men to talk about this week.
Okay.
We're gonna decide who's the most normal.
God, there's a lot of normal men in Hollywood, isn't there?
There's so
But
many.
who's the normalist?
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Trailers ahoy, specifically for Furiosa,
Oh, yeah.
a Mad Max saga. And I want to talk about a Dark Knight Returns controversy. Did you see that this week?
Oh, no.
It's a
that
situation
wrong?
about... We'll talk about it. We'll get
Is it
to
the Dark Knight's ending explained?
We can do
Is
that.
that what it is?
Dark
They're
Knight
finally gonna-
Returns, not the Dark Knight Rises
Ah,
of the
never
movie.
mind. Okay,
it's a
all
comic
right.
book.
Okay.
Oh, and also Jordan Vogt-Roberts, who messaged
Directed
me.
Kong Skull Island.
Well, he messaged me. That's the most
Okay.
important thing.
Okay,
And
right.
I'm going to talk about in later's all this things, all the inside information about Kong Skull
Wow.
Island that he sent over, which is a good week to do it. It's a big Godzilla time at the moment, isn't it?
Absolutely
We've got
is.
Monarch, we've got Minus One, we've got some Kong X Godzilla
All
posters
different
or something.
continuities.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And Planet of the Apes, which is different.
It's different. I think there is a crossover though, isn't there? Isn't there like a King Kong Planet of the Apes crossover
Or
comic?
maybe.
I think there is.
I mean, if there's an Archie versus Predator, there's almost certainly a Planet of the Apes versus King Kong.
Absolutely. Now, we couldn't go further, though, without acknowledging the people and their Spotify Wrapped that have sent our ways.
That's right. We got a lot of tweets.
So many kind things on various social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook.
That's right.
Twitter.
There's a Spotify wrapped mega thread in the
Yeah.
Planet Broadcasting Great Mates Facebook group. People are very very kind. It's always nice to see who we are with in the top podcasts. You know.
Usually Auntie Donna,
Yeah. Who we've defeated and who we've been defeated by.
finally,
Yeah.
for both
Yeah.
of those things.
That's right.
Yeah. And some of the people's listening numbers, I mean, we appreciate any amount of listeners.
That's right.
Listenings.
But I mean, a lot of the numbers are rookie numbers.
Sure, yeah.
Unlike, for example, I think our winner here is Keegan Andrews.
No, the winner is Raw Collings, who has listened to every episode multiple times.
That's true. Including all the really bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And crucially, all the very long, awkward silences where we look things up.
Yep.
Or we
We're getting a fist fight.
get into a fist fight,
You
exactly.
just hear a scuffle.
Yeah.
There's a scuffling, yeah.
Or I bandage my wounded hands.
Yes.
From an attempt to open a sugar-free soda that
Yeah.
I hurt myself.
All of these. This is not bleeding. God, you're a big wuss, Mason.
It's bleeding-ish.
Yeah, bleeding. Yeah, sure, mate.
But anyway, to the best of my knowledge, our top listener is Keegan Andrews, who listened for 47,761 minutes.
Oh my God.
He's our top 0.5% fan.
And how many days is that?
32, 33 days?
God damn.
That's right. I mean, it does say 0.5%. So maybe everybody at this level is equal, or maybe there's like I wonder if there's a 0.1%
Oh, there's an upper.
But they're probably too busy to post on Facebook or anything.
They probably are, yeah, because they've gone insane.
They've gone insane, yeah.
Yeah.
They're trapped in a room.
Absolutely. Let's talk about this, Mason. Oh, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's
yeah.
just Spotify. That's not including like everything else.
That's right.
So yeah, wonderful.
Not like
stuff.
Tidal,
No.
you know?
What is that? What's going on?
Tidal is Jay-Z's.
I know what it is, but
Okay,
what's
right.
going on there?
I don't think we're on Tidal.
Oh, what?
Somehow, yeah.
It's disappointing.
Okay.
Anyway, also Spotify sucks. We all know, etc. It's a bad place run by psychos.
Yeah, sure.
Who don't pay anybody, including us.
Yeah.
So that's good.
But if we applied that metric, we wouldn't have a podcast.
It's everything.
We wouldn't talk about anything on this podcast.
Speaking of Mason,
Yes.
this is via Variety. Theatre owners are concerned over the Christmas box office season.
Oh, cry me a river. Oh, I'm about to go out of business. We're a family-run cinema, and we've been around for decades, and we're going to go out of business. Boo-hoo.
Well, you should have bought Netflix when you had the chance.
Right.
Family-owned business.
Yeah.
There's a few owners have spoken out to Variety, including Phoenix Theatre owner Corey Jacobson. Oh, so the reason for this, I should also point out, I didn't mention this, is because of Aquaman 2 is not tracking super well.
It's not Traquamaning very well.
No, it's not.
Aquaman's not Traquamaning.
No, I mean, it's the same with the Marvels. It's like it's a sequel to a movie that people have like forgotten. It's not connected to anything.
That's
people
true,
are
yeah.
sick of it and and it looks whatever.
And again, like, you know, we have been conditioned to watch these movies with the expectations they connect to the next
We get a
movie.
post-credits.
We get a post-credits and, like, it's all to build up with the next saga and the continuity is going to continue and you have to watch it in order to make sense of the next thing. But if you know, like, if you've given people that mindset and then you go, this is the last one of these and it's probably not going to connect to anything else.
And it doesn't matter, yeah.
Then we're like, well, probably don't worry about it then.
Don't worry about it, exactly. So Phoenix Theatre owner Corey Jacobson says, you can't look at the release schedule between now and the end of the year and find...
I actually can.
Okay,
Look at the
well,
release
no, wait,
schedule from
and
now to the end of the
find
year.
one movie that stands out like Avatar as the big film.
Oh.
Exhibitor relation analyst Jeff Book says, the holiday
What's his
season...
name?
Book, B-O-C-K. Bock?
B-O-C-K? Yeah,
It's like
Bach.
sock.
Yeah, like sock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The holiday season is on the shoulders of Aquaman, and that's not a good shoulder to put anything on.
Ouch.
He has wonderful shoulders, actually.
Very broad and probably tattooed.
And Jeff Logan, the owner of Logan Luxury Theatre, says, ooh, luxury, must be nice.
Logan Luxury.
Studios have IP and they think it's their golden ticket, but it's oversaturated. We've seen it all before multiple times. These things aren't events anymore. They aren't rare. It's just this month's superhero movie. Patrick H. Willems did a video recently on the What Killed Cinema, which I recommend people check out. And he talks a lot about like this kind of stuff specifically. But here's the thing. I think there actually might be a savior this Christmas season.
Oh, yes. Christmas with the Cranks 2.
Yes. And it's on
Legacy sequel. Christmas with the Cranks Maverick.
Sure. Yes. Or
Was that not a Michael Crichton?
what?
What was Christmas with the Cranks based on?
That was like a Tim Allen, Jamie Lee
But it was
Curtis.
based on a book, and it was based on
Michael Crichton.
No, it wasn't Michael Crichton. It was like the Pelican Brief guy,
Oh, okay.
I think. Maybe I've made this up. Maybe I've got...
Is it Christmas with the Cranks?
Yeah.
Then it's definitely that one.
Yeah.
All right,
It's definitely based on like...
let's find out.
Let's find... I cannot wait for this. This is very exciting.
Yeah, it's based on the novel Skipping Christmas by John Grisham. You are correct.
I knew it.
You are correct.
I knew it. Here you go.
You are an absolute
Wow.
madman, Mason.
Thank you.
But
anyway, what's the movie that's actually going to save
I
cinema
think
potential?
Wonka could.
Okay.
No,
sure.
I'm not saying it definitely could.
Uh-huh.
Director of Paddington. First reviews are out this week. People like it. I think it could The Greatest Showman it. Remember that came out? People were like, who cares? This is nothing. And then it became this huge hit. So I think, and it's a musical. So I think it, you know, Christmas season, whatever, I think it could be Wonka. Because it's not going to be fucking Aquaman 2, I'll tell you
Probably
that
not going
much.
to be Aquaman 2, no.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to make like $2 billion like Avatar. It could make 400 or 500 million. I'm saying, potentially. If I'm wrong, I'm going to delete all these episodes. All of them.
All of them?
All the ones that I've ever said Wonka in.
Wow. How are you going to do that? AI?
Collins will do it.
That's great. Okay, great.
And I think he'd enjoy that.
I think so too, yeah.
All right, got another.
What a great Christmas treat for him.
Zack Snyder's been doing his Rebel Moon press conference because Rebel Moon Part 1 is coming out
soon.
22nd of December, I think.
Quite soon, yeah.
Yeah, which I'm genuinely looking forward to. Let's see it. He's been talking a lot of stuff, talking about his version of the DC Universe, how it was never supposed to build to like a Avengers-style movie because he doesn't make those kind of movies.
And you know what? Respect to him for not answering, not continuing to answer these questions, but not having like a deep sigh right at the start.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I think he likes doing it for a time. He also talked about how he spoke to James Gunn, he gave him his blessing and all of that. But one of the things he said was that he also believes that the superhero genre has not evolved and doesn't have the excitement for it that he used to have. And I think that is true. Like, we are seeing that and people are recognizing it. Again, it's like the theater thing. It's like, this is just another one of these things that happens every month. It's not exciting anymore. But he did say he would be open to helming one more DC movie. And he said it was The Dark Knight Returns, but only if it's a true representation of the graphic novel.
Interesting. Okay.
Which he could do. I mean, he did Watchmen, so he would just do like that, right?
And he did the bits in Batman v Superman that are just the Dark Knight
Where
Returns.
there's a bunch of Dark Knight Returns stuff in it. Yeah. I mean, in a way, he did already do that. In a way,
he did. And, the Batman, he's got the suit on.
Who you want old Batman?
Old Batman?
Old Batman.
Get Affleck again. Kidnap him when he's on a Dunkin' Donuts
run. I don't think he's old enough. I think you need to go older.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
If he was... He's probably not that much older. If he was bigger, Josh Brolin, he could be big enough, I guess. Nah, he's too young.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's not older than...
People were talking about Eastwood in like the early 2000s.
They were, that's true, yeah.
Now he's 100.
Yeah, so perfect.
What about a gruff Jeff Bridges? You gruffed him up.
I think he's too old.
So you need someone younger than Jeff Bridges.
That's right. Shirley Temple.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Sure.
Who's broad and old?
So, I mean, because it's tough because,
You got to be broad and old.
You hunch down when you get older. You shrink down a little bit,
Yeah. Don't know.
I don't know.
We'll think about it.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
Peter Wells.
Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And he's got the mustache, which he then shaves off in the comic. Yeah, it's cool. And he's normal.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll get to that in a minute. But Deadline have reported also that Loki and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness writer Mikey, I call him Mikey, we're friends.
Yeah, you've been good friends.
Mikey Waldron will write 26's Avengers the Kang Dynasty, if it is going to end up being that.
Sure.
I think he's a great choice. I think people are too harsh on Doctor Strange too. I think it's fucking pretty good, man. It's fun, especially compared to like some of this more recent stuff we've seen.
That's right.
You know?
Everybody has a little pizza ball.
Yes.
That's fun.
It's got a Sam Raimi flavour to it. Speaking of, apparently he's still one of the top choices for the Avengers movies.
Just as a side note, what an absolutely insane invention. Like a pizza ball.
How would you even make
It'd
that?
be hot on the outside.
On the outside.
The whole thing
What if it was
on
on would you like it on the inside? If you made a pizza ball, it's on the inside.
Yeah, but that exists. It's got the pizza pocket.
No, it's a ball, not a pocket.
Oh, then yes.
It's a ball, Mason.
But then how do you cook it?
How do you cook it? That's up to you.
Oh, wow.
You're asking me?
The choice is there for me.
This is your invention, probably.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you bring this up?
No.
Anyway, let's do a normal man update. Mm-hmm. So we might even do a poll on the Planet Broadcasting Great Bates
Who's
group.
the most normal man?
And by that I mean colleagues. Could do
sure,
it.
yep.
Or any of the wonderful admins there, obviously. This is by variety. So this is normal man number one. David Zaslav, who's the CEO of Warner Brothers, who apparently didn't work in the movie industry until 2021, which is something I recently found out.
Yep, that's right.
But that's fairly evident, isn't it?
Yep.
He said this on cancelling Batgirl. For those people that don't know, there was a Batgirl. If you're listening to this, you probably know, but there was a Batgirl movie. It was pretty much finished. It's got Michael Keaton and Brendan Fraser in it, and they cancelled it.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton's Batman, specifically, by the way. No, he's not just in it. He's Batman.
And Brendan Fraser's the whale.
That's right.
Was also in it.
He's also in it, yeah. And he said, and they cancelled it for tax reasons.
Yeah.
But he said it's not about that. He said, we decided that we have to have courage. The question is, should we take certain of these movies and open them into the theaters and spend another 30 million or 40 million to promote them? When I look at the health of our company today, we needed to make those decisions. And it took real courage.
God, it's so courageous, I think, to take somebody else's art and just squash it.
Just bin it.
Just chuck it in the bin, you know? And it's worked out so well for Warner Brothers.
Yeah, they're
doing
life.
so well.
They have had some hits this year, though, to be fair. Barbie, the upcoming Wonka, which is going to be the hit of the season.
That's right.
All of these things.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, just imagine if they didn't do Barbie, they did Polly Pocket or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and it just...
They could have.
It just sunk like a stone. And they were like, oh, okay.
It's obvious that the reason why that movie worked because they gave it to Greta Gerwig. And she did a weird fun version
and
of
it was a kind of lightning in a bottle. It's the toy that so many people loved, but they'd never made a big theatrical movie about it before, so it's gonna be an event kind of thing.
Exactly. Anyway,
And Greta Gerwig, I think, and Margot Robbie have said something along the lines of, we're not in any particular rush to make another one. So
I think they will.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is like a tactic to like hold out for money. Because, you'd be like,
sure,
I don't
absolutely,
really
yeah.
want to do it. Oh, I could
Yeah,
never. Ooh. And then they're like, do you want $40 million? And
Yeah.
like, all right, we can do it.
I guess I do want to do it for $40 million.
Next up, we've got Bob Iger.
Mm-hmm.
He was at the...
Bobby.
He spoke to the New York Times Deal Book Summit. He's, of course, the CEO of Disney, who recently came back.
Yes, that's right.
Now, he's also passing a lot of the blame for what happened with Disney to Bob Chapek, who he chose to take over. And
Bobby.
And we got a bunch of weird decisions that guy made. But also, like, Bob Iger was a part of the reason why, like, Disney Plus has had such a big push and killed all Pixar movies
and killed most movies most
movies that they've had this year.
Yeah, because the people have been conditioned to, you wait 30 days and it'll be on Disney Plus. So you don't have to spend $100 on taking your family out and arranging all that. You can just wait. You can just not tell your kids it's out, this thing.
It's a goddamn thing. He said quality needs attention to deliver quality. It doesn't happen by accident, and quality, in our case, diluted quality, and Marvel has suffered greatly from that. From now on, also, they're only going to make sequels if there's a good story to tell.
Interesting.
And he also said The Marvels, which recently bombed, was shot during COVID. There wasn't as much supervision on set, so to speak, where we have executives there really looking over what's being done day after day. What's interesting about that he would pick that movie specifically is that they had so many bombs this year, or movies that underperformed. Wish recently came out.
Did it?
Fucking disappeared.
Because I have seen, over the last, I reckon, week or so, I saw a bunch of tweets about Wish.
Yeah.
And they were like, Wish is pretty fun, and here's a clip of a song or whatever, and they've tied all the, other properties together or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know if it's out or if this is people getting advanced screenings to review it.
Yep.
I don't know if it's out at cinemas. I don't know if it's on Disney Plus.
Yep.
I've seen no advertisements for it.
You wanted to watch Pinocchio live action remake again in preparation for Wish.
That's exactly right.
Because that's also Wish Upon a Star.
Yeah,
you want to know that.
How does it connect to the Lion King
Great question.
live action remake?
So Wish bombed, Indiana Jones.
I hate them. That's how it's connected. I hate them both.
Wish bombed, Indiana Jones bombed, Ant-Man 3 mostly bombed.
Yep.
Haunted Mansion bombed. Remember that was this year?
Yeah.
All of these bombed.
I vaguely remember it. If it was released closer to, I don't know, Halloween.
You mean not in like July or whatever
Yeah,
it was?
I probably remember it. Was the idea there that they were going to build a bunch of hype so that by the time Halloween actually happened, like it was
Disney
taking
Plus,
place? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Apparently it's fine
Yeah,
as well.
sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's filled with product placement.
Sure, that's great too. Two great things. A movie that's fine and choked with product placement.
The premise isn't that one of isn't there an element of it like that one of the main characters' wives died at a Jamba Juice or something? Doesn't matter. It's not important.
I have no idea.
It's a booster juice.
Is that on Disney Plus yet? Who cares?
It is, yeah.
Great, I'll check it out. Next Halloween. And then, of course, we got Elon Musk's interview with Andrew Ross Sorkin, where he was, and this does tie in because he was asked about what he feels about all these major brands pulling out of advertising on Twitter.
Yeah, and he's like, it's their fault.
Yeah.
When Twitter fails, it's their. Also, he still calls it Twitter. Have you noticed?
Yeah,
this thing
but
that
he's like,
he
oh, it's
renamed.
X actually, and then they would just flip on it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's almost like his brain doesn't work or has stopped working or always works like this, which is badly. Anyways, he interrupted during that question. He said, don't advertise. Somebody's going to try and blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money. Go fuck yourself. And then if you watch the clip, there's a really long pause where he looks back and forth at the crowd for some kind of reaction.
Like an applause break or something.
and then again he says, go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. And then there's a polite-ish applause.
Incredible.
The whole interview, it's the most fucking weird and desperate thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
He says, I've brought you, he's talking to the interviewer and he says, we're here together because we're friends, Jonathan. And the guy goes, my name's Andrew.
Is that moment?
Yeah, there's that moment. Pretty normal.
He also said, "What this also an advertising boycott? Nobody has to advertise with you. This is the market existing as markets do, where people make decisions. Also, the reason why they pulled out is because of an anti-Semitic tweet, which he did, which he also took back. He's like, I shouldn't have done that, but also I don't apologize and fuck Bob Iger specifically. But that was the last of like a long line of things which got him here. Like he's been doing weird shit with it like for a year now, you know? It's not like it was just this.
And he's got that woman, her name's Linda Yacker, I think, who he'll do something insane and then all her tweets are like, boy, I love having a coffee to start my day. And you can do that on X. What?
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He said, what this advertising boycott is going to do, it's going to kill the company, and the whole world will know that these advertisers killed the company. It will be documented in great detail. Sorkin said to Musk that advertisers would likely push back on the notion and point out that he was the one who prompted their pullback. Tell it to the judge, he said. The judge is the public.
Nice. That's bold.
Now,
I like it.
I think, and look, there's a lot of theories on this.
Are we picking who's the most normal guy?
Yeah, we'll do that. But let's just... I think that he bought it initially maybe to try and make it better and make it as a promotional tool for himself.
Sure.
And because he can't do that, because his brain doesn't work properly, is that now he's actively trying to kill it and then blame it on advertisers, right?
Okay.
And also, good. Kill it. I would love that.
Oh, yes?
No, do it. Kill Twitter. Incredible.
Like, generally speaking, like
something will come back.
Yeah, no, I know, but Twitter has a particular combination of like, okay, I can get jokes.
Kill it.
Yeah, fair enough. But you get like jokes and news, and it's got inline video, and it's not just like people picking scabs videos like all my Facebook feed is, you know. So,
well, that's your Facebook feed.
Yeah.
Anyway, who's the most normal man here?
I think Iger's out. I think that's I don't know. It's just not that's not exciting enough.
Yeah, you're right. It's not exciting.
That's standard patter. I think of like, well, actually, we blame everybody except us.
Yep.
The executives. We
blame this one director.
Yeah, that's exactly
for everything
right.
that happened.
We made them do a bad job essentially, and now we're mad at it.
Now Zaslav is like, I mean, he's brave. You talked about
he's very courageous, isn't he? Yeah, like the troops.
And that's not normal because being brave takes. Like, you got to be exceptional to do that. And then, of course, we got Musk.
I think I'm going to give it to Musk just because of the whole. He's I don't know, but that's also brave because he's done it live.
It's brave
in front of a crowd, and he's just doubling down it with every sentence. Yeah. So I think it's probably Musk this week.
God, I love how people say that.
It's a tight race, though.
Boy, is it. Yeah. We should do this every week. Well, somebody actually had the suggestion that we add this because we have our Weekly Planet Awards at the end of the year. And we do most normal man of the year.
Oh, sure. And most normal. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a really tight race. I know Musk won this week. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's been a weird year, Mason.
It's true, yeah.
All right. Trailers ahoy. Now, we haven't seen these yet because at the time of recording they're not out, but The Boys Season 4, I think, has a new trailer, as does House of the Dragon and probably other things.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Well, we want to talk about Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Yeah.
Which is the next prequel.
Uh-oh.
In the Mad Max universe. Would you like a synopsis?
Yes.
Also, it's set 45 years after the civilizational collapse, Mason.
Okay.
When the big Mad Max happened.
Yep.
In Cobram.
That's right. Yeah. In right in front of the dog on the tucker box. That's when the fall of humanity happened.
Correct.
In front of the big statue of Ned Kelly.
As the world fell,
Glenn Rowan.
Young Furiosa is snatched from the green place of many mothers and falls into the hands of the great biker horde led by the warlord Dementus. Sweeping through the wasteland, they come across a citadel presided over by the Immortan Joe. While the two tyrants war for dominance, Furiosa must survive many trials as she puts together the means to find her way home.
Okay.
So, wow, Mason.
Now, is the green place, is that where, you know in Fury Road, there were the Megan Gale had that group of women, warriors. Were they from the green place? Is that?
I believe so,
Okay, right. Well, I would just go there then.
Incredible movie that, by the way.
Pretty good.
I feel like just looking at the trailer, I don't know whether this... I don't know. I mean, it's George Miller.
Well, here's the thing. Also, I remember when the Mad Max Fury Road trailer came out, I was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's done some happy feats or whatever it was.
He did a few
I don't know about
between,
this.
yeah.
And it was like, I think it definitely said the original Fury Road trailer was like from Mastermind George Miller or something. I'm like, I don't know, man.
You'd think he's lost it.
Yeah, but he hadn't. So
no, that's
and this feels comparable to that. I mean, I don't think the visual effects are finished in this trailer. I think
there's some weird color schemes going on, like color grading, but it's got war boys, it's got big cars, it's got sand, it's got Immortan Joe, he's back.
It's got
not played great by Chris Hemsworth. They're two different men, I think.
They are different men. Chris Hemsworth,
different noses.
But Chris Hemsworth is playing a weird freak.
Yeah,
and that's
boy,
great. Because that's what you do after you do a Marvel movie. You do a weird freak,
big weird,
or you do a big
weird
black and white
movie.
man.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
One of those two
Your
things.
two options, yeah.
That's right. Well, I mean, that's what Christian Bale did. He was a weird black and white man, wasn't
That's
he?
true. With Chris Hemsworth.
That's right.
It's probably where Chris Hemsworth got the idea.
No doubt.
Bale's probably like, you after you do this, you do a black and white freak. You do a real freak.
He probably did say that.
Where am I from? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Am I from Wales? Am I from Wales? James.
Is he from? Yeah, he's from Wales. Yeah, you're from Wales, Christian Bale.
Oh, thank you.
You should know that.
Well, now I do. And I thank you and good night.
So,
It's with that guy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
Surely
know.
the airfare alone from Wales to here,
Yeah.
exorbitant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know people also talked about like, it looks you can see a lot of the CGI in this. If you look at the behind the scenes of Fury Road,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of fucking CGI in that movie that you do not know.
You do not know is there,
So
exactly.
much in that movie.
Yeah.
And it looks incredible.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Who
seem.
is playing Immortan Joe in this?
I couldn't find the actor for it.
The previous,
He
it was
died,
Hugh Keys
yeah.
Burns, who was also in.
He was Toe Cutter in the original.
In the original, and he's passed away. So, and of course, this is a young guy. So,
Yes.
don't know.
Let me check. Morton Joe, new actor.
Okay, a mystery.
I don't know, Mason.
Do you think this is a deliberate mystery?
I've seen people say it's Chris Hemsworth, but it's not. They're
Yeah,
like
it's
two
not. Yeah, yeah.
distinctly different characters.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's probably like George Miller's son or something.
Yeah, it just says he will return on the Wikipedia page.
Okay, sure.
So I don't know. I don't know, man.
Anyway, Anya Taylor-Joy, looking the part.
I think, look, I
with
would
hair, but
with hair
yeah.
for a time.
Yes.
I think I definitely like. If you had asked me before they started filming this, I would have preferred like a Charlize Theron led like Furiosa movie. I'd be happy
Yeah.
with that. But you know,
Yeah.
is what it is.
Now, Google says if you look at the cast for Furiosa, it also does say Charlize Theron. So does that mean she's in it, or is this Google?
this is
Google.
could be.
Is this
but, like,
Google that's broken?
could be just nonsense.
It also says Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this is just a case of Google is broken and it's
Google is broken.
Google is broken.
Sad to hear it.
Yep.
You hate to see it, mate.
That's right.
You really hate to see
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
Yeah.
There's a woman in this. Look, again, this could be very wrong.
Sure.
But there's an actor in it, Xanthia Marinelli, and she is playing Treadmill Rat, which I think is
All right.
pretty great.
I like that.
Pretty great.
So this is out in May of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
People have been asking, are you going to do the Mad Max movies for Caravan of Garbage? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would love to revisit those. The good ones, which is all of them.
That's
But
right.
especially the fourth one, it's the best one by quite a long way.
Yeah, it's
a
insane.
very good movie.
Yeah.
And I don't even understand it. Like, I'm watching, I'm like, why is this so great? I don't get it.
Yeah. It's
makes me
but
mad.
then you realize you're watching the Cinema Sins video on it.
That's right. Which I often do.
Did you see this? This is
Your one bit of news is
well,
serious.
not really, but I just thought Variety's released their lineup for actors on actors. You know, they do the
there's some interesting ones
YouTube
here, yeah.
series where they pair up two actors and just have them chat. I don't know if they give them an initial talking point or whatever, but they're just like, bang, here we go. So so it's going to be, this includes Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo. That's going to be interesting, I think.
Two blokes.
Just two blokes.
Two blokes who love being in a post-credit scene for Iron Man 3 together.
That's exactly
Reunited.
right. That's right.
And other movies they probably did together. Who knows?
The one that people are probably looking forward to the most, which is Cillian Murphy and Margot Robbie together.
Absolutely, good
That is
pairing.
very exciting.
Yep.
Let's see who else. Who else, James?
Who else?
Who else?
Who else? Who's he with?
Emma Stone and Bradley Cooper. That'll
Okay,
be good.
yep.
Remember they were in that movie where Emma Stone was Japanese?
Oh, Aloha.
Yeah.
That was like the Jerry Maguire dude made that.
Yeah,
And everyone's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
we
yeah.
fucking hate this.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I
Wonder if
remember.
that'll come up. I wonder if that'll come up. Yeah.
I don't know. I
Jeff-
would say probably not.
Probably not. Probably not. Jeffrey Wright and Taraji P. Henson, that'll be good.
Okay.
Jeffrey Wright's got that movie coming out.
Yeah.
called American Fiction.
Yeah.
Where he's an author who's not having a great deal of success, and then they're like, what if you invent a backstory as like a
Cool street
like
guy.
a cool street guy? Yeah, that looks really
Yeah.
exciting. Carrie Mulligan, Michael Fassbender.
Okay, cool.
Others. Just others.
Just others.
Oh, Alden Ehrenreich and Davine Joy Randolph. That'll
Who's
be
that?
good. Look, I'll be honest, I don't know who Davine Joy Randolph is, but I know who Alden.
Oh, yeah, I know her.
Oh, she's in The Holdovers.
yeah.
Which is coming up
I got to
soon.
watch that.
Is that out?
Yeah, she's in Lost City. That's
Yeah, yeah.
That's a fun little movie.
Oh, is she? That's the.
Channing Tatum, Sandra Bullock one.
Yes. Okay, she's in that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's terrific. Well, then I need to know exactly who that is.
Well, good for you, Mason.
Annette Bening and Julianne Moore. Maybe they'll talk about Dick Tracy.
Maybe they'll talk about Dick Tracy.
We'll talk about Dick Tracy. Anyway, those are all very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll watch clips of them on X, which we all should do.
Yep.
Mason, I've got one more thing. It's a Dark Knight Returns. I would say controversy / revelation
Whoa.
in relation to the comic. Now, you're familiar with the iconic Dark Knight Returns cover, the
Yeah.
main one. What is it? Tell me.
It's It's Batman in silhouette.
Yep.
And he's leaping through the air and he's being illuminated by a big bolt of lightning coming out from behind him. Or is it in front of him?
Wow. So
Yeah.
you do know about this?
Yeah, I know about this.
What did you... Okay, so it was revealed this week by Captain Kraken, I think was the first one
Okay.
to...
But not Frank Miller,
No,
who presumably drew it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Who... I think he was the first person to mention this, or at least recently said, for some reason I find myself wondering at Mark Miller's thoughts on this. Apparently Frank Miller always intended for this
Why
shot...
does he want to know what Mark Miller's up to?
Because he's a comic book man.
Oh, okay. Does he think they're brothers?
Yeah, they're brothers.
Okay.
Apparently, Frank Miller always intended for this shot to be Batman front-facing when most people see it as back-facing.
I've always seen it as back-facing.
Same. Thoughts
Yeah.
on the artist versus audience interpretation. Now, I know you've seen this probably, but I've just got the pictures in case you didn't. So this, did you see this? So that's what it's, see, that's how people see it.
That's
A lot of
how I
people
see it, yes.
But if you look at the original,
Oh,
it's
interesting.
front-facing.
Okay. Well, I guess it would make like narrative sense that he's coming at you.
Yeah.
He's come your crime and he's coming at you. You know.
What I thought was interesting, though, is that even Zack Snyder, when he used that shot in Batman v Superman, his is from the back also.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
so there's like, I also like, on the back, I don't know, this blew my mind, Mason. Yeah, so anyway, I just thought that was super interesting.
Yeah.
You know? So have you ever seen that optical illusion where you look at all the plates and they're all like concave and then you look at the one plate and all the plates flip?
Yeah.
You don't know.
I don't
You
even know what a
anything.
plate is.
Yeah, cool, man.
And I think we've mentioned this previously, but last year that cover sold at auction for $2.4 million.
Oh my God.
So there you go.
We should get it.
Oh, yeah.
We should get it.
Should we crowdfund it so we don't, so we don't have to spend our own
Oh,
money?
yeah, no, I don't want to spend my own
You
money.
think spend our own money?
I would hate to do that.
Collins, take out that part where James said we'll spend our own money.
All right, should we move it along?
Yes.
Godzilla Minus One.
That's right.
It's the newest Godzilla movie, but it's not in any of the known continuities. It's a new continuity.
Oh.
We'll get into that. Do we need to? That's probably enough.
Yeah, we don't know. Here's the thing. We don't really know. It's not set in the American Godzilla Monsterverse. It's not set in like the original 1950s Godzilla something.
Yeah.
And I looked it up briefly and it says that it's a movie set in it says it's the fifth film in the franchise's Reiwa era. But I don't think all of those movies are connected.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't need to know that.
No, you don't need to know that.
Yeah.
Now, on a budget of $15 million, I want to talk about how that is possible or even
Sure.
if that is true. Because how?
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to make worldwide this, or at the time of recording, about $25 million. But I feel like it's not playing in cinemas everywhere. I know here it
Yeah.
isn't. We had to go to special screenings, didn't we?
Sure
and
did.
whatever.
It's sort of we're sort of doing sort of a limited release, advanced showings
And
right
my
now.
screening had like 4 people in it.
Oh, because I went to the IMAX and it was packed. So there you go.
Okay, there you go.
I want to see it as a big spectacle, I think.
It's definitely a big spectacle to check out. So yeah, that's very interesting. It looks like it could be one of those movies where it's just, you know,
a good movie.
a good movie that people
Yeah.
go and see and it's fun and people
I
like
love
it
that.
and word of mouth.
I
Anyway,
love
what do
that.
you think the story was?
Oh, come on, mate.
Yeah, tell me.
God, all right.
Tell me all about it.
All right, okay. So it's the movie begins in the sort of closing days of World War II.
Yes.
1945, and
Just like King Kong versus the island.
that's exactly right. And our main character is a man named Koichi, and he's a Japanese fighter pilot who's been assigned to the kamikaze division. 10 kamikaze.
Which a lot of people think is cool, but he
Yeah.
doesn't think
it's cool. And so he lands his plane on a small island that's sort of been manned by engineers.
It's not King Kong's island. If that's
Not
what you're
King Kong's
thinking.
Island because he doesn't want to do it. And some of the guys are like, yeah, fair call.
Some of the
actually.
boys are like,
Some of the
"It's
boys
all
are like,
right. It's all right, man."
It's all right, man. You know, why you don't have to blow. I mean, the end's coming of this war.
Yes.
You know, don't even worry about it. Kick back, have some brewskis. You know. But he's conflicted. He's like, I feel bad.
Yeah.
I can't enjoy these brewskis because they said you should blow yourself up in this plane, and I didn't.
I can't enjoy these Asahi beers, which are probably a Japanese beers.
That's
I
right.
think,
You're absolutely
probably.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Mhm, yeah.
But anyway, go on.
But then, guess what?
What?
Godzilla.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this Godzilla, he's mean as fuck.
Yep. Yeah.
He's not a nice man.
No, that's right. He's one of the least nice men you'll see in this movie. I would say predominantly nice men in this
Yeah,
movie.
sure.
Everybody's pretty nice.
Everyone is pretty nice, yeah.
Yeah.
They're certainly harsh on each other.
Yeah, that's right.
But there's a general air of niceness about it.
He has some Godzilla type experiences.
Yeah.
And then he returns to mainland Japan.
It's not looking good there,
It's
by
not
the way.
looking good.
Yeah.
His village has been hit by some airstrikes. His parents are dead.
Yep.
Get over it. And no, that's not what I would say normally.
Yeah.
But he's
It's a movie, and let's get on with it.
he's a little bit distraught, and then and he meets he's trying to get his life back together, and then he meets a nice lady, and they're friends, and
That's right.
then guess what?
Godzilla's back.
Yeah.
And he's way bigger.
Yeah,
and guess
yeah.
what? He still fucking sucks.
That's right.
He's gotten worse, actually.
But this time we got some colourful characters.
Yep.
And they're there.
And
They're all
they're
going to
nice.
team up. They're nice, and they're all going to team up. They got skills.
That's right. They want to kill a big lizard together.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a really interesting time period. So it's set, I think as late as it goes is like 1947.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure what the meaning behind this name was, like Godzilla Minus One. What does that even mean, right? And so apparently the concept is that in Japan, who had been devastated by war, they faced a new threat with Godzilla, bringing the country to -1. So they're at zero, they're at ground level, and then it's below that, where they're like, everything's bad, but what if a big lizard made everything worse?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That'd be worse.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, Mason.
I like this movie is great.
What a delight.
Prior to this, before we went to see this, we texted back and forth.
Yeah.
Or something, or a phone call. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I said, I think this movie will be okay.
There's going to be, I think we talked about, it'll be people in boardrooms being like, what are we going to do?
Well,
and that happens maybe once.
Yeah. The last Japanese Godzilla movie I saw was Shin Godzilla, which is from 2016-ish, which I saw quite recently. And the action in it is spectacular, and I think it's a very good movie. But it is a lot of like people in boardrooms going, have we filled out the correct forms to requisition the equipment to stop Godzilla?
Yeah.
And then there's a bit of action, and they're like, back to those forms.
Got to do it.
But this great emotional story.
Yep.
All the characters, they've got.
It's not woke. People saying it's not woke.
Is that what they're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There's no messaging here.
Nobody's saying Godzilla's a girl.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I thought it was. I bought my friend Paul. Along. Well, he goes, "What are you doing this afternoon?" And I'm like, I have to see this Godzilla movie.
He's like, "Can we drink heavily?"
Yeah, and I said, "We can, but I have to see this movie first." And he's like, "Can I come?" I'm like, "Sure." And I'm like, bear in mind, I said to him, like, "You are not going to like this." And he's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because it's a Japanese Godzilla movie in Japanese." And he's like, "Is it a cartoon?" And I'm like, "No." But just that's what this is subtitled. It's like, oh, okay. Anyway, we arrived at the cinema, and as we're walking in, he goes, "Why are you seeing this?" And I go, "For work." And he goes, "Why am I seeing it?" And I'm like, "I don't fucking know."
Are you drunk? What's happening?
Anyway, he enjoyed it as well.
That's great. That is good to know. That's great.
Yeah.
But look, all the characters go on like a real emotional journey.
Yep.
So Koichi, he's kind of he's torn up by what happened in the war, and he feels like he abandoned his post, and he didn't get any closure on that sort of thing.
There's a lot of people demanding that he kill himself.
Yeah.
In ways that I don't think he should.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any moments in this movie where he should have killed himself.
Yeah. And so and he is now living with this woman Noriko, who is not his wife, but she sort of decided to start living in his house, and she's
rescued a baby.
She rescued a baby. It wasn't her baby, but she's looking after the baby. So now they're all just together looking after the baby.
Yep.
And like
he's watched them slowly build this life together out of the rubble.
Yeah.
And Godzilla shows up and he sucks.
That's exactly right. And then we got a sort of friend. There's a kind of nosy neighbor lady.
Yep. There's a fun scientist guy.
Yeah. There's a scientist guy. There's a guy who just wants to get in on the action because he was too young to serve in the war.
Yep.
And
33 in real life, by the way.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And like they all go on these journeys together, and it all comes together at the end.
Yeah, boy does it. Yeah.
And it's a bit like it's sort of there's some Independence Day to it.
Oh yeah,
Dunkirk. Somebody compared it to, and I think they're right. And yeah, it looks incredible.
Okay, we should talk about this. I've written here
the movie Godzilla Minus One.
Yeah, but how does it look like this? And I mean, off the back of it being $15 million.
Now, and of course, it isn't. It's not a 1-to-1 comparison, the US movie industry and the Japanese movie industry.
No, there's
obviously.
a lot of money wasted in the
and I mean I think probably one of the major ones is that I don't think Japan has the same like star system as Hollywood in the sense that like somebody they'll fill a cast with people who demand $20 million.
No, nobody in this is like a huge star.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware.
Right, but they're all good.
Yeah, they're all good. But I looked into also why this might be the case because I was like, maybe this isn't $15 million because looking at this movie, it doesn't look that way. And I know the director also worked as like the VFX supervisor as well, like people taking on multiple roles and whatever. I looked up, there was a website, Animost Studio, and they were talking, and one of the things they said was that if you work at, say, Studio Ghibli, which is the dream for many.
It's pronounced Studio Giblets.
Studio Giblets. The salary offered is relatively low of 200,000 yen per month, which is approximately $450 per year. And apparently for VFX artists,
You said $450 a year?
$450, sorry, per week.
Okay.
Sorry. And apparently for VFX artists, it's not that much different.
Right.
So cost-wise, in terms of like putting something together that looks like this, and a lot of the stuff that like that is done, like a lot of special effects done in Hollywood, it is outsourced to other countries to do, like, you know, like Japan and various other places.
Right, sure.
And that we see it for animation as well, because they do it on the cheap and they do it quickly.
Right.
So I think a lot of the cost cutting here is just like people killing themselves to make this look the way that it does.
Right.
And I also saw the point.
But it also is probably shot selection and, you know, the stuff.
It's definitely all of that
having
too,
a plan in advance. Again, like the when we often talk about the American system, the present day version is the Marvel system or the Disney system, which is, you know, as we've talked about ad nauseum on this podcast, it is a case of like just film a bunch of stuff, and then we'll put it together later,
and then we'll put Chris Hemsworth.
and then we'll get the VFX guys to do 50 versions of a laser, and we'll pick one.
Oh yeah,
and then it's going to be pretty bad. It's going to look bad.
And there's one version of a laser in this. I'll tell you that much, Mason.
Mm-hmm. But in this, it's know in advance what you're going to do.
Yep.
I presume.
There's no like man in a suit Godzilla in this, as far as I'm aware.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the more modern Godzillas as well, they still often defer to that.
Yeah, right.
In certain shots, but there's none of that going on here.
Unless he's just a big mean boy, isn't he?
So, mate, it's just mean and rude. Because some of the stuff that he does, and this like harkens back to the original Godzilla movie.
Well, he's a real menace in this. Like, you know, we've got.
Well, for those who don't know, he's a metaphor for nuclear destruction.
Yeah.
Like that's what he is.
Yeah, but in all the most recent American stuff, you can tell that they've sort of given the edict to the visual effects guys and the people who are, you know, staging all the action stuff. You know, he's avoiding, you know, have him avoid civilians for the most part.
Have him go under a boat.
We don't want to, go under a boat, go around the buildings. We don't want to see him smashing through an office building with people in it or whatever.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't care.
God,
he doesn't give a hoot, James.
Not only that, he actively goes out of his way. There's moments where he's just like shredding buildings.
Yeah.
Just like apropos of nothing. There's some incredible shots in this. There's a boat chase, and you might have seen the clip online if you haven't seen this movie, where his head's just out of the water.
He's doggy paddling.
Yeah, chasing this tugboat. The atomic blast is insane.
Yeah.
Like the noise and like it's like a shotgun. It's not like this prolonged kind of like, it's just like bang, and then there's just like this huge like shock wave and everything's just destroyed.
And you might be like, sure, but we've seen that in Godzilla versus Kong or whatever, and it's cool, and it is cool. Or you might even be like, I saw it in Shin Godzilla, and it's like a laser particle beam situation. It's a whole new thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's worth the price of admission just to see and feel
how
like...
was that in IMAX, by the way?
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Because there's that... It does that thing in some movies where there's that huge blast and then there's a moment of silence where everybody was like transfixed.
Absolutely.
Nobody went, you know?
No. I mean, you did.
No, I kept it to a minimum.
You only did it every
I paused
second time.
and then I'm like, just so everyone knows, I could have gone, but I didn't.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Please clap.
The other thing is what I thought was interesting, because when he shows up at the start, he's significantly smaller. He's like a giant
Godzilla.
T-Rex. Yeah.
Not Koichi.
Yes.
He's regular size.
He's regular
most of the
size.
time,
He does not grow. He's the same size throughout the entire movie. Well, like, and he like kills a bunch of like these mechanics on this island. He's not eating anybody. He's just like throwing people and chopping them. Like he's not interested in.
Now, is that because he's mean, or is it because he's like a shark? Because you know how sharks don't actually like the taste of humans.
Maybe
but
they
test them out and they go, no, and then they throw them away.
Yeah, maybe that is that. But yeah, I also think if you are like, I don't know if he has a huge amount of screen time. It might be 20 minutes for the whole thing. Who's to say? But it's really scattered out quite well. Where you're never like, God, I could use some more Godzilla.
Yeah, it's a real good. The pacing is really good in the sense that you never go, boy, what movie are we watching again? You know, it is a Godzilla movie. Okay.
Where we at?
Yeah.
Where we at?
But also, I think we've talked about with the Monsterverse movies recently. There needs to be a good balance of the monster comes in and blows everything up, and you care about the human characters and you think they're interesting and they're on a journey that you can relate to and etc. And I thought all the human drama is really good.
Absolutely.
You know? If this were just a movie about some people getting over the horror and trauma of World War II and having their homeland destroyed and blah blah, I would be on board with that. Like, absolutely. I think it's a good it's a really good setting for this.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think the time period speaks, like, I think it just lends itself to that so well, and just having this era of, like, technology. Gareth Edwards spoke to the director. What's the director's name again? I can't remember.
The director's name is, let me tell you, Takashi Yamazaki.
Yeah, he was saying he was, like, jealous of, like, I should have thought of this, like, this version of this.
I should have made Godzilla mean.
Yeah, make him mean or whatever. But also, like, speaking of, the design is something new again. It is that kind of, like, bottom-heavy version, so it's quite buoyant.
Yes, right.
He's a big-ass boy floating around in the water.
Yeah.
And I think also one of the things that Kong versus Godzilla did, which we'll talk about this week for Caravan of Garbage, not as well. The speed of Godzilla has increased in a way which I think doesn't work as well.
Yeah,
Whereas
right.
there's a real slow, like, it takes him a while to turn and stomp and all of these.
Yeah. And he can,
things.
you know, he could maybe like a tugboat might be able to outrun him depending on the circumstances. So everything feels really tense. Also, because none of these actors are stars, you don't know
who's going to die.
And you don't know. You also don't. Well, I guess it's because I don't watch that many Japanese films, but I'm also like, I don't know what the structure of this is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to enact a plan to stop Godzilla, and then the Godzilla's going to kill everybody, and then they're going to have to start again, or you know, I don't know.
Or that's the end of the movie.
Or that's the end, or like they're. And I didn't even know how long this movie was going to be going in, and I'm like, okay, or you know, I don't know if. You know, is this the sort of movie where it ends and everybody's, you know,
sad and whatever?
Everybody's, you know, is it going to be a horrifically sad ending or what have you? You know, so is it a movie where everybody's got to live because there's going to be a sequel or whatever? And I think that really added to the tension for me.
We won't tell anybody that,
That's
will we?
right,
But
never.
we might now in spoilers.
Unless
you've got some more spoilery free stuff.
Nope. I thought the production art was really good.
Yep. I mean, again, like replicating this time period, all the costuming, it all works really, really well. Yeah.
I'm going to say best movie ever.
There's also a lot of green screen in that. Like I saw there's very little behind the scenes stuff and like director interviews and things. Like I tried to find a bunch of stuff. There's not that much available.
Well, he should have gone on Hot Ones.
He should have gone on Hot Ones.
John Evans would have asked great questions.
I completely agree. Where like,
Godzilla plays with kittens in one of those ones.
Smash.
He'd smash
This
them
one
all.
wouldn't he?
Yeah, he'd
He's
smash
made
them
in
all,
his
yeah.
road.
Yeah.
But there is like and I'm not just talking about like when Godzilla is in it, but there is a lot of green screen and visual effects in this which you would not necessarily know.
Oh yeah.
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 I mean, stuff that you'd be like, oh, you could just do that practically.
Yeah.
And it's not awesome.
I think I've definitely fallen into the trap of the past of believing when a movie's like, yeah, this is actually VFX free. We did all this for real, and Tom Cruise actually flew the plane into Iran or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, into the enemy's territory. I don't know where it is.
North Korea, maybe. We'll never tell.
We'll never tell you. That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, spoilers.
Best movie ever for you?
Yeah, best movie ever.
Nice, yeah, great.
I can't say I've seen any of the Japanese Godzilla movies. And people are saying that this is the best one, though.
Yeah.
People are saying.
Well, I mean, again, I don't know. I've seen.
I should watch the original.
Yeah, I've seen the original, the black and white one.
Yeah.
And I've seen Shin Godzilla, and
You've seen some animated stuff, haven't you?
yes, because there were some animated ones where he's set in a destroyed Earth and he's like the size of a planet or whatever.
Oh, that's too big.
There's those ones. I have seen, and I'm sure I've seen clips of like I've always, I like looking up clips of Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla or those
Or whoever is fighting.
whoever is fighting from back in the day. So I've seen those. But I ran into a listener
Oh yeah.
who was also at the screening.
Did you drop all your paperwork and like?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
What are we
his
doing?
name I think was Lottie.
Yep.
And he said he's seen all the Godzilla movies, and prior to this, his favorite was Shin Godzilla. Announced this.
Whoa,
so,
okay.
There you go. So
There you go. It's got the Lottie seal of approval.
That's exactly right.
Did you help Lottie pick up his papers, or did you just keep going?
Kicked him into a gutter.
Yeah, I think you could enjoy this even if you're not a Godzilla fan. Also, you know,
Yeah,
because of the
just a fan of good movies.
Yeah, just a human drama. Yeah,
I think this would be a great introduction to Godzilla.
absolutely.
I don't think you have to be like, okay, well, he started out as a metaphor for atomic warfare, and then he became an anti-hero, and now he's the people's champion or whatever. Just a horror movie, monster movie.
Just a mean boy running amok. Anyway, let's talk spoilers.
Let's talk spoilers.
I really like the different ways that they attempted to like to trap Godzilla or
Yeah.
attack. Well, there's one big plan that they go through with at the end, and it's not just put a bomb at him.
Sure, yeah.
It's different, and it's
I mean, the last
interesting.
plan is just put a bomb at
Oh,
him.
yeah, they do
Maybe
that.
they should have tried that initially, you know?
No, they had to weaken him, Mason,
Yeah.
using buoyancies,
That's true,
etc., various gases to sink him and whatever.
Epsom salts and so forth.
That's right.
You know, bath salts.
Yeah. I really like the idea of, these people who had been completely devastated
Oh, you like that,
by
did you?
war. Yes.
Wow.
But let me finish because I have another thing to say.
Okay, great.
And that also that, them coming together, there's no, the government isn't coming to save them.
Yeah,
Because the government had failed them already
Yeah.
previously. And so they're just like, well, someone's got to kill this giant lizard and we'll give it our best go.
Yeah.
And a lot of vets and a lot of people who didn't fight in the war and various ages
Yeah.
or whatever come together. I thought that was interesting.
And of course, plot-wise spoilers. Of course, Noriko is seemingly annihilated
Oh
by
my God.
the
Big nuclear
atomic breath
shockwave.
laser heat ray thing.
Yeah.
But she's fine.
She's all right at
She's
the
all
end.
right, she's
Did
all
you
right.
know she would be all right?
Yes, because
I thought so because I thought this man who everybody keeps trying to make him kill himself
Right.
needs to cut some.
Well,
cut
I
some
mean,
slack.
they laid the seeds as soon as when she got hit by the blast, she pushed him out of the way. I'm like, oh, okay, she is dead. And again, because I'm not familiar with Japanese cinema, I'm like, well, in American cinema, of course, she's still alive.
Yeah.
But in I'm like, well, maybe
Saying
that's
Japanese cinema is as gutless as American cinema.
that's right. I'm like, well, it's probably not as gutless, and she probably is dead.
Yeah.
And then he has, then he can be like, well, it was too late for me to tell my feelings, but I'll help the daughter and etc. But then when
When he was like, I'll also sacrifice myself.
no, but that's true. But when he brought in the mechanic from the island that he thought he betrayed by not helping at the start, and the guy's like, now hear me out, 007. Here's how you activate the bomb, and here's one more thing. I'm like, well, that's the ejector seat.
Yeah.
This is the Dark Knight Rises.
This is Dark Knight Rises.
This is Dark Knight Rises ejector seat. And I'm like, well, he's going to get out of it. And then I don't think they're going to go with, I'm like, okay, well, maybe they could still go with he survives and he raises the daughter on his own, I guess. But then he gets the nosy neighbor gets the telegram at the end, and I'm like, okay, this is all going to work out fine. And I reckon in maybe a lesser movie, I'd be like, well, isn't that convenient?
Yeah.
The woman who was blown across the city by an atomic explosion from a giant reptile. Oh, she's fine, is she?
Yes.
That's great.
Probably fell into a pillow factory.
Oh, Mr. Sacrifice isn't going to sacrifice himself at all. Great. Isn't that terrific for
You didn't
him?
like the character of Mr. Sacrifice?
I didn't like him at all.
I thought that was really unfair. So this is something. we
But
can
it
talk
is
about
my
more in
favorite
spoilers.
Creed song. Mr. Sacrifice.
So he doesn't want to be a kamikaze pilot, so he pretends that his plane has issues, so he lands it on this island.
At the start of the movie,
Start of the movie, where the guy who helps fix the plane later is like, oh, nothing wrong with your plane. Interesting. Mr. Kamikaze, Mr. Sacrifice isn't sacrificing himself, whatever.
Well.
And then Godzilla turns up and he goes, Mr. Sacrifice, listen, there's only one person who can operate the machine gun on the plane. You should run out and
Yeah,
shoot
the only
Godzilla.
person trained to pull the trigger
Pull the
on
trigger
that
on that. Doesn't even turn. You just got to pull it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he runs out to do it, but he can't because it's a big lizard. Then the big lizard kills everybody except Mr. Sacrifice and the head mechanic.
Yeah, yeah.
And even then, I'm like, that's a lot to put on a guy.
Yeah, and
You
also
know?
I don't think it would have worked.
No, it absolutely would not have worked.
It's never really two things that are never really explained or given a definitive answer.
Yeah.
One is that, and I don't think what I think is probably alluded to throughout most of the movie is that Godzilla's basically indestructible on the outside, but he's not on the inside, which is how you can do a
But
big explosion.
I don't even know if that's true because the reason why he grows big is because he's caught. Well,
that
he's
was
caught
my
a
other
nuclear
thing.
explosion, and that makes him grow like.
Well, that was
10
my other
times
thing.
his
Is it
size.
ever determined? Do they ever say specifically that it's because he was caught in one of the nuclear explosions?
No, but you just kind of see it, and that's why he you see his eye go rah, whatever.
Oh,
and
of
then the
course,
explosion
yeah,
goes
you
off.
do absolutely do.
And then
right.
at the end, when they blow his head off, and you think he's dead, and he sinks into the ocean,
Yeah.
you see he's kind of reforming. So I think the implication is that he basically can come back from any situation,
Yeah,
and
sure,
he'll
sure,
come
sure.
back. He's more scaled and scarred and stronger and bigger every
Yeah,
time something
yeah,
happens
yeah.
to him. I think that's the idea. That's my opinion.
Like a Doomsday. Do you think he's been
IMO.
inspired by Doomsday?
Maybe.
DC's Doomsday?
But I also-
From the movie Batman v Superman.
Oh yeah, no, I
Dawn
do
of
think that
Justice?
actually.
Yeah.
But I also a thing that I thought I was like, oh, they actually killed Godzilla. I did not think that would happen. And then I was like, oh, no, they didn't really.
That's
It's a
true,
big
they didn't.
sack of organs.
But
floating in
again,
the
I guess,
ocean.
and I don't know if they're going to do a sequel to this one.
I would say almost certainly.
They didn't do a sequel to Shin Godzilla, though.
Well,
Makes
I don't
sense, doesn't
care.
it?
I haven't seen that.
But again, this gives them the opportunity to say, okay, do we bring him back as a villain or a hero?
Yeah.
Because as we know, the original Japanese version sort of morphed into a guy who's fighting even more evil monsters.
Yeah.
So maybe they could be like, well, he regenerated and now he's not mean anymore.
Because we blew up his brain.
We blew up his
And
entire
his brain
brain.
is different.
Yeah, he's got a different brain now. Yeah. Well, his body regenerated, then he scooped up the bits of his brain from the ocean floor, then put them in his head.
Now he's a hero like Mark Wahlberg.
That's
Who
right.
could have stopped 9/11.
Yeah.
His words, not mine.
Okay.
Just to clarify.
Right.
That's what he said, Mason.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got some reviews here, Mason.
Okay.
It's from Cthulhu Lemon on Twitter, who says, Godzilla Minus One hits hard and real deep. Never in a million years did I think I would tear up in a Godzilla movie, but this one got me multiple times. Every character mattered to me. Oh, and new best Godzilla ever. Hashtag Heat Ray. Hashtag Baby's Got the Bends. Hashtag Weekly Planet Pod. Guys, please see this.
Baby's Got the Bends, that's a Radiohead reference.
I don't know what that is.
Wow.
We did see it, though, Cthulhu Lemon. And these two are from the Great Mates group, Planet Monster Great Mates group. You could join it. It's fun.
Well, with a recommendation like that and a very clear illustration of what it's called, I'm sure
You'll
people are going to
figure
find
it
it in
out.
droves. Yeah.
Jonathan says, Godzilla mean AF in this. Loved it. Breezy 2 hours. Had a great human story too. Very moving. And Travis said, by the way, top contributor, by the way.
Very nice.
Then you get on the show, maybe.
A little badge.
Yeah. No spoilers here, but when I came out of seeing Shin Godzilla back in 2016, your favorite movie, Mason.
That's true.
I didn't feel like I'd just seen a Godzilla movie. It just didn't have that magic I felt as a kid. Not that movie is bad, just giving my feelings. But coming out of Minus One, it felt like I've just finished watching a Godzilla movie. I haven't felt that way since 1999 when Godzilla 2K came out in American cinema.
Oh.
So there you go. People are loving this across the
Digging
board.
it. Maybe this will be a sleeper hit. Maybe this will...
I think it will be.
It'll... and again, it'll be... Even if it does decent business over the next month or two in the West, it'll make its money back.
It doesn't need to make much, too.
Yeah.
Because everybody seemingly was crunched to make this. I assume I don't know that for fact.
Yeah.
I also saw the argument made that they probably needed it to look this good because they knew it was probably going to go to Western audiences.
Yeah, right.
And you don't want to put over like a shitty Godzilla movie where people like go, oh, this looks like shit.
Is this what they like over there? Yeah, right.
Yeah. Which I think, that's...
I wonder also,
argument to be made.
but when we talked about Oppenheimer, it was a lot of like, oh my God, it's that guy.
Yeah.
It's the guy from Numbers,
Oh, you
et
think
cetera.
this was like that?
I wonder if this is like that for Japanese audiences. People are like, oh my God, that's the guy from the soap commercial.
Oh my God, that's the guy from Japanese Numbers.
Right?
The
Yeah.
original...
That's right.
American Numbers was adapted from Japanese
Yeah,
Numbers, by the way.
exactly.
Yeah, but they just called it Numbers as opposed to American Numbers.
Yeah.
They should have called it American Japanese Numbers, in my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
IMO Mason. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, should we move it along?
I think so, yeah.
We've had a good time.
We've had a good time.
But there's more good times to come in life and this show.
Disagree.
Okay, what's the next segment, though?
What we reading?
Yep.
What we going to read?
Whoa! I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today? Wow. Hello.
Wow is right.
I know you watched a Godzilla movie. We
That's
recently
true.
talked about it. Did you watch anything else or read anything else?
I mean, I didn't watch anything else but two things. One, I'm going to watch Scott Pilgrim Takes Off.
I gotta watch that. Isn't
Right?
that also like a retelling?
Well, it's different. I know a little bit about it, but I don't want to get into it spoiler wise. But so Brian Lee O'Malley, who wrote and drew the original Scott Pilgrim,
Yeah.
and I think
Look at this.
it's a dog on top of your child
Yes. I'm
trying to suffocate your
looking
child.
at the monitor, my daughter, and my dumbest dog is in there.
And that's saying
Trying to
something.
commit a murder.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we'll just finish this segment, then you can go save your daughter.
Sure.
But yeah, so as I understand it, Brian Lee O'Malley, who's also producing this one, and and I really think this is great that because he's still involved with this, he hasn't just gone, okay, let's just do the movie again, or let's just do the comic again.
Yeah.
Let's move it along. And if you're a fan of the comic and the movie, I'm sure you'd be, as I am, I'm like,
Yeah, sure.
I would love to see I'm not that big a fan because I haven't watched this yet. But
Yeah.
As I understand it, it takes a different direction. I'm going to say
Well, at what point does it take a different direction?
like
do you
2
know?
episodes in.
Oh, wow, okay.
And there's it's like a 10 episode run.
Okay.
So, but they're Masters of the Universe revelationing it.
Oh, my
apparently.
God.
So it's a different take on it, which I think is good.
So He-Man's gay or whatever people think
yeah,
about
that's what
that?
the show is about.
Oh,
it's just
cool.
10 episodes of that conversation.
I love that.
Pretty good, right? But I'll tell you what I've been actually listening to. Did you know this?
I liked Masters of the Universe
Yeah, me
Revelation.
too.
People don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Did you know that Cillian Murphy has an occasional radio show on BBC Radio 6?
No.
Well, he does, and it's back.
What's it called?
It's called Cillian Murphy's Limited Editions.
In relation to what?
It's just I think it's because it's a limited show. It's like 4 or 6 episodes every once in a while.
Is it live or does he record them?
It's pre-recorded.
Does he take call-ins?
No, but he does take emails.
Oh my God.
Cillian.murphy@bbc.co.uk if you want to email in. But it's just I think
What was it like to play the Scarecrow?
fine. It was fine.
Are you in Tron Ares, the new Tron movie?
No, I'm not. That's Jared Leto.
I don't want it to be Jared Leto.
It's too bad.
Can you hear me even though this is an email?
Yes. No, I've just predicted what you're going to say.
I like that Cameron Monaghan's in it. I like him, but
is
why?
he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
But why is it a Jared Leto movie?
He's got a good Asian, I guess.
But doesn't he suck?
Yeah.
You can say it. Say it. Killian.
Boop.
You can't hang up on an email.
He's doing it. But it's interesting because it's just sort of like it's late night tunes and it's kind of like very vibey and he talks to the audience and
Is it a podcast also, I assume?
Well, it's on. I've been listening to the current ones are on the BBC iPlayer, I guess.
Okay.
And the old ones are not on there. So what you have to do, all the talky bits are on YouTube.
Yeah.
But obviously the music isn't
couldn't
for
be,
copyright reasons. But someone has put on Spotify all the
that's
all
fun.
the playlists in order.
Yeah.
So you can just sort of listen to him talk and then he'll be like, and here's a song from whoever. And then you just go to the playlist and you can listen to it. Also, he's quite involved in it. He's made a series of really, really bad station idents, like deliberately on purpose. He's like, here comes an exclusive. And it's like him with like a Dalek, like vocoder over the top and it goes, exclusive. And I'm like, this dude's just like me for real. And what's also interesting is, because I heard about this and I went to listen to it and I'm like, surely this isn't coming out in the wake of Oppenheimer. But it is. He's just gone back to this radio show. But he doesn't mention it at all. He isn't like, oh, by the way, I've been busy because I was in one of the biggest movies of the year and I'm probably going to win a bunch of awards and maybe an Oscar for it. He's just like, welcome back. I'm in the weird basement. Here I am and here's my radio show. So it's very nice. It's very calming and like cool music.
I'm going to check that out.
And he's like, here's some music my son recommended or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's cool. Yeah. So there you go. What about yourself,
He was the Scarecrow.
He was the Scarecrow. Yeah. Yeah, and he was Bobby Oppenheimer.
I watched a movie.
Bobby.
Yeah, it's true. I watched a movie which I've been meaning to watch for a while. It's an Australian movie called The Royal Hotel.
Oh, you did watch it?
I did, yeah.
Did you go to the movies?
I didn't. No, it's in streaming.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because it's at the movies at my local movie theatre.
Well, Mason, it's on streaming.
Well, I'm going to watch it on streaming.
If you know
then.
what you're doing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you show me later?
Sure.
Okay, great. With streaming and so forth?
Hang on, let me just check this.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, where did I watch this? It's on Prime. There we go.
Okay, right.
I'm like, how did I watch this? Am I wrong? Did I go to the movies? No, it's on Prime. I don't know wherever you're. Anyway, basically, it's based on.
It's got Peggy from Glass Onion.
That's true. Peggy from Glass Onion is in it.
Whose real name is
Jessica Hennick.
Yep.
So it's Jessica Hennick and it's Julia Garner, who you might know from what's it? Fucking Jason Bateman does Breaking Bad. The show.
Oh, Ozark.
Yeah.
Maybe?
It's got Hugo Weaving as well.
Okay.
You might enjoy.
All right.
So it's this these two backpackers who are, I think, American, but they tell everyone they're Canadian, which is a thing apparently American.
Oh, that happens all the time.
sometimes do.
If you see somebody with a Canadian flag on their backpack, they're either Canadian or they're American and they're trying to trick
Pretending to be. So basically they go they're running out of money on their trip around Australia, so they decide to...
Their Trippo.
That's right. They decide to go to this remote...
Non-Troppo on their Trippo.
That's right. This remote mining town to work at a pub there. And it's awful. It's an awful time, and everyone in the town is awful.
Would you say it's akin to Wake and
Fright? Yes.
Yeah.
It's probably not as harrowing as Wake and Fright, but also it's quite harrowing. So, basically, I don't know, people in Australia probably have had experience with this. I know I have because I've lived in remote areas. Every now and then you'll just come across a place like this and you're like, this is a bad vibe place. Am I going to get killed here?
Yeah.
And you know what? You might.
Are they going to kill me and then stuff me in the big banana?
So,
or the big prawn?
yeah, just that idea.
Or the big worm?
The big worm, yeah. I've lived in places like this for like extended periods of time, just like the isolation and like the loneliness and just like the grubby people and
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Not everybody. But
What
you
about
get,
the nice cafes?
there aren't any.
Not the cafe culture?
Not where I lived. And you kind
That
of
is terrifying.
You get drawn into this kind of, you become like part of it to an extent. So anyway, I really enjoyed it. Check it out, the Royal Hotel.
Did I recommend Limbo on this?
Oh, The
on this
game.
podcast?
Oh, it's directed by Kitty Green. She did a really good job. Yeah.
I definitely did. Simon Baker's in it. It's black and white.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to re-recommend that.
That's
it's an
right.
Australian movie about Simon Baker plays a detective and he goes to a mining town.
And he goes, I'm the mentalist, but I'm back in Australia.
That's right.
If that's where I was from in that show.
Yeah, they
Look at
call
my
me
hair.
Mento.
They call him Mento?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
They call me Freshie, which is short for the fresh maker.
Okay, yeah.
Mentos, Mento, the mentalist.
It's perfect.
That's how Australian nicknames work.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Freshie.
Yeah.
It's me, Freshie.
Yeah. So three great things to check out,
So many
all
great
the
things.
same, basically. You can watch any of those and you get the same vibe.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim, Limbo, the Royal
That's
Hotel.
exactly right.
It's all fine.
Cillian Murphy's Weird Radio Show.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good too.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Cillian Murphy's Weird Radio Show. Where people keep asking him,
Yeah.
was he the Scarecrow? Yes, I was.
He was.
I was.
Just to clarify, also,
Are you in Tron 3? No.
he would get no money for this. I assume,
absolutely
right?
not.
Yeah.
No, surely
or
not.
very little if it's a
Yeah, yeah.
BBC budget. Great, love
They
that.
probably charge you for the bandwidth for all the weird emails. That
Probably
it's
do.
sent.
Yeah. All right, should we move to the next segment
It's
of
time
the show?
for letters. I'm gonna play the letters theme.
For your weird loud phone that you bought.
Yeah, well, I've set the volume to medium.
Okay.
So let's see how it goes.
All right.
That's a nice phone.
I don't like it.
What if we needed to hear something really loud?
Yeah. We just wouldn't.
No, we wouldn't, though, would we?
Mm-hmm.
The classic one was letters.
You never know what you're doing.
Letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day away. We're going to hear right now. We're going to do letters.
Okay, I think I found the sweet spot. Halfway down, too low.
Yep.
Top volume too high. 3/4, perfect.
3/4.
Three
Nice.
quarters.
Mason, if you do want to reach the show, you can hashtag Weekly Planet Pod.
Why
on
would
Twitter.
I want to reach the
I
show?
know you're already on the show, etc. Or weeklyplanetpod@gmail.
You don't know that.
I do because you're here.
Oh, yeah.
Weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com.
Sorry, I'm just getting defensive.
I can tell.
No, can you?
Now, my letter this week is from famous director Jordan Vogt-Roberts, who
Wow.
directed Kong Skull Island.
Well, all of mine are from real people with real lives in the real world.
It's just interesting that we both live different lifestyles, different. We move in different circles,
That's
you
right.
know?
You're drinking champagne.
It's true.
Over there with Mr. Vogt-Roberts.
And the Illuminati.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm drinking pig swill with a bunch of garbage people. And I'm loving it.
All right, so basically, I mentioned this last week, but we recently reviewed Kong Skull Island on Caravan of Garbage, and
That's
in
right.
summary, we really liked it. It's a fucking fun and great movie. And anyway, he watched that, but he's also apparently been watching this for years, and he sent some very kind things. But he also sent through a list of behind the scenes stuff, including things that we got wrong and inspiration,
Oh,
and
okay.
that I'm gonna, and some other things that I won't mention here.
Oh.
But nice things.
Okay,
just want to
sure.
clarify. But yeah, so if you'll indulge me, Mason,
Please.
I'll do this now. So we mentioned at one point that there's a first-person shooting segment, and he says, and we mentioned something and I think that I got this from IMDb, that it's taken from Call of Duty, but he says, I don't play Call of Duty, and Mason Weaver was based on Sigourney Weaver. Felt I had to clarify that I'm not a COD-obsessed bro.
Oh, okay.
He said the Skullcrawler was not based on the goat Cubone, but the first angel scene in Evangelion.
Oh,
And you can see that.
okay.
If you're
Yeah,
right,
right. Okay.
I can't believe I missed that because I'm a big anime guy. You know that.
I know that, yeah.
And also, the original Skullcrawler design was way cooler, and they slowly kept shifting it to a bit more dinosaur-y for his tastes.
I see.
The third influence for the Skullcrawler was back from the 1933 Kong movie, and it's the creature crawling upside down in the canyon. Supposedly, it has back legs, but it's not seen in the film, so it's really the only non-traditional dinosaur in the movie.
I see.
The Skullcrawler in Kong was originally called MacArthur until the studio made me change it because they can't sell toys like that. I like that.
Because the World War II guy would have named him.
Yeah,
after
exactly.
MacArthur. Okay, right.
I like the idea of having a weird human name it, like when a cat is called Kevin. The idea that the P-51 Zero pilots would have named him after the general because you can't stop him. Thus, why there's an entire joke in the movie about how the name is dumb. In my canon, all the creatures are actually nameless as no one has studied the island, thus them not being given names. I found out some of those names during the press tour.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. The idea for the World War II cold open was, yes, to have a Kong kill a giant quadruped ape that looks similar to Peter Jackson's version to send a message that
That Peter Jackson sucks.
Yeah, specifically, yeah. No, that the king has returned in its 1933 bipedal form, and this idea obviously got killed.
That's interesting as well because there is a Japanese Godzilla film where the Godzilla in that movie, I can't remember what it is. Is it Monster?
Godzilla 2000, is it? Or?
Yeah, but he kills the
American
98
version.
Godzilla, 97,
Yeah.
98 Godzilla in what, one punch.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Exactly. Part of showing Kong up front was a reaction on my behalf to Gareth's film, because obviously they kept a lot of Godzilla and that till later on in the movie. But it was also inspired by Bong Joon-ho's The Host that shows you the creature in full daylight almost right out of the gate.
We love that movie.
If you haven't seen that movie,
Yeah.
fucking incredible. He directed Parasite, so
Yeah, that's true. But he also it's a movie about like a kind of a horrific like sea creature monster that emerges and starts slaughtering people. And the only defense is a family. Like they're a close-knit family and they like own a food truck, but they also were all like freedom fighters and they're all just like, well, better get out the Molotovs.
Yeah.
And that's,
I think Weta did the special effects as well. It looks amazing. It's a really good. It's from like 2006.
Yeah, something like that.
Because I remember we hired that just to be like, oh yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. In my head, I sort of conceptualized the movie thinking of what if the 1933 movie happened, but they never made it off the island. So the boat they find in the temple was meant to be the boat that they took in that film.
Interesting.
And that Kong continues to grow. The traditional dinos we saw died off, and there's a bunch of weird hidden shit like that. One of the things I'm still proud of is when the spider bamboo legs goes through the spider's mouth. It's a clear reference to cannibal Holocaust. Still can't believe that got in. Yeah, that's a wild thing to put in a movie, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I love that monster. I think that's like so just upsetting. Hiddleston was never going to fight a giant snake, which is something that we said. Something you said, I think, actually.
Oh, yeah.
We had so many incredible creatures designs, and the tiger with antlers was definitely one of the coolest. Giant ants were never planned. John C. and I did a bunch of improv once we fell into a groove, and that was a completely improvised line. Ironically, I think they released a board game or a comic years later with giant ants. He also mentioned how that, like, he appreciated how we mentioned that like not all these animals are trying to kill you. Some are just, and he said he tried to put a lot of that in there to be like this is like its own ecosystem going on as well.
Giant ants as well. Like that was sort of that feels like a 1950s throwback. Like they were always like irradiated giant ants.
Yeah,
do you remember it came from the desert? Absolutely. It was like a video game that was like
vaguely
and giant ants in it. Yeah.
Okay, is that kind of like Destroy All Humans? That kind of like throwback,
sort of. Yeah.
Also, I mentioned this last week, one of Warner Brothers' first notes was, how much can you cut John C. out of this movie? Brutal. They didn't think his tone could coexist with the rest of the film. After much back and forth and then seeing the testing, it really is a stealth John C. movie. And the tag with him returning to his family was picked up at the very end once they realized what an asset he was. And he also said, and for the love of God, I've never played a Call of Duty game. Smiley face, which would be fine.
Yeah,
You're allowed to play them.
I mean, it's just the denials.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Making me ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's right. Although the genre first-person shooter reference that they're clearly there. There's a bunch of other stuff that he talks about in it, other influences. I could have gone on, Mason.
Could have gone on.
And maybe I will. We also talked a little bit about his movie, The Kings of Summer. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's like a coming-of-age story. If you like Stand By Me or...
I do.
Then there you go. It's really, really good. And I was like, I love this movie. And he was like, a lot of people haven't seen that movie. Uh-huh. And I just assumed that no, everyone's seen this movie.
Yeah,
it's an incredible movie. I don't know if you've seen it. It's also got some names that you will know.
Oh.
It's got Nick Robinson in it, who went on to be in Jurassic World and various other things. Right. Nick Offerman's in it. Yeah, Erin Moriarty's in it.
Oh.
So there's a few breakout roles in it.
There you go.
Anyway, Kings of Summer from 2013. It's really cool. And yeah, I just think Anyway, thank you, Jordan, my good friend Jordan.
Wow.
For
you call him Geordie?
Yeah, no, sometimes.
Wow.
You can't. But
no, clearly.
Anyway, thank you so much for sending that all in. That's
fun. I love that. I love a little behind the scenes, little tidbit. Won't get that anywhere else, will you?
Absolutely not.
You certainly won't get it from our video. Can't care about a garbage video where we got a bunch of things wrong. Won't get it there.
What have you got from the Grubs?
Here's a few mails from the Grubs, from the commoners. Sorry, everyone, but it's true.
Do you think we should have exclusively film directors writing now, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that'd be better for the profile of the podcast.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, what we could do is you could get emails from directors, and then we could lavish praise upon them, and then I could read out some regular people, and then we could boo them. So get your best boo ready for this one.
Absolutely, I'm ready to
Barbara. Dear James and Mason, greetings from Poland.
Poland?
I'm a long-time listener, as a mother, a teacher, and someone who takes the tram on a daily basis.
Oh, my goodness. All of our influences.
I feel your show was just made for me. Your two great mates helped me through some tough times, like spending a month in hospital with my 2-year-old, getting my driver's license. He's fine now.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay, I'm not worried.
Even without Hollywood healthcare. It's fine. Getting my driver's license at 35 or coming back to work after a long maternity leave. And she says some nice things about the podcast, which is very nice. They've been watching the Caravan of Garbage's Godzilla ones.
Yes.
As we were watching Godzilla vs. Kong a few weeks ago, I said something to the effect of, well, obviously everyone's rooting for Kong, meaning the audience. My husband was aghast. In his mind, Godzilla is the clear hero. We now both think the other one's crazy. So can you please settle this for us? Who do you root for and who's ultimately better, Godzilla or Kong?
I prefer Kong. I think Kong is made out to be the more sympathetic.
Yeah, he's the
character
underdog.
in that.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You know, it's I mean,
I think for that movie specifically, though,
Yes.
it's different depending on the movie.
depending on the movie. And he wins in the Japanese, like in the original King Kong versus Godzilla. I think Kong wins.
Just kills King Kong, does he?
No, King Kong wins.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
I thought that was ambiguous.
No, I rewatched it recently.
Okay.
He puts him down and then he just walks away.
Oh, he goes, all right.
But in this one, it's Godzilla pretty
Yeah.
much. Godzilla's pretty much the winner. But I think we are meant to, like, Godzilla feels like the
dog.
like the powerhouse. He feels like the guy who's not gonna go down. So and King Kong will eventually, or Godzilla will set him on fire. Which is amazing that didn't happen. You know? Because he's all fur.
He's all fur,
that guy.
You'd only need to catch the corner of him, you know?
That's-
I reckon
he'd go up.
he'd have so much oil and grit in him. Who knows?
Exactly.
He'd be
But
very
I
flammable.
think we're supposed to root for Kong for the most part.
Yeah.
And he's got the more sympathetic face, like he's been designed that way.
I think also that if you went into that movie with the movies in this continuity, I could see why you'd be like, well, Godzilla's the good guy. Because he is in 2014. He's not in Skull Island. But then in King of the Monsters, he is again. So,
yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah. Whoa.
On a side note, my sons are 6, 4, and 2. These movies are not exactly...
Your son is 6'4"?
Yeah, 6, 4, and 2. There's 2 of him.
Oh, my God.
These movies are not exactly age appropriate, but they saw a clip once and became obsessed. Now, nothing makes them more happy than watching Godzilla and Kong punching each other in the face.
Yeah, my son's
Am I a
seen
terrible
that.
mother?
Nah, you're fine.
Can I be the official irresponsible parent of the pod? Best wishes from Barbara. Thank you.
Yeah, I've shown my son clips
yeah.
from that. I think one of the first things he saw that I was watching was the scene on the battleships.
Yeah, right.
And my
That's
son was
crazy,
like,
yeah.
what is this?
Right?
And I really want to show him all of them.
Uh-huh.
But again, like we talked about with like Skull Island, like
Some of those are
some of that
scary,
stuff
I
you
think.
cannot
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
I can't show him. I think I could show him the first one.
See, 'cause that's
and
the thing
probably and Godzilla versus Kong is more kind of like a Marvel-y kind of like
But
movie.
also, here's the thing as well. I think that it's not even like how smart the kid is. It's what the subconscious does.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he would watch those and be like, oh, scary, cool, whatever. But then I think your brain, as a kid, your brain percolates on it and you
Yeah.
would have a horrible nightmare.
Exactly.
And go, oh, now that's in my head forever.
Now I'm sad.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
I was going to say, though, perhaps she could get the kids on the Godzilla cartoon series.
Oh,
From,
yeah.
like,
The 98 one.
Like 98, 99.
Oh, yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I think it's got monsters punching each other.
It's good and fun, and I
Good
like
and fun.
it. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I got a few more emails.
Oh, you
Don't
wish.
worry about them.
You
Oh,
wish.
do you not have any? Do you have any tweets? Or you
No,
just,
I do have some more ones. I actually got some from. I got a tweet here from
on.
Afro Tales Podcast who says #Weekly Planet Pod. Can you explain the Tomorrowverse and if it'll be part of the new DCU? Go for it, Mason.
No. What do
That's
you
it?
mean the tomorrow? I don't know what the Tomorrowverse is.
Just explain it. It's fine.
I don't know what it is.
I'll wait.
I don't know what you're talking
Google
about.
it.
Okay.
No, I'll do it. I got it. So the Tomorrowverse is the DC animated universe that began with 2020's Superman Man of Tomorrow. Some of the
Oh.
movies that's been in the Tomorrowverse include, they did The Long Halloween, they did Legion of Superheroes, Justice League Warworld. The next movie coming out in January is Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths.
I
so this
see.
is new DC continuity.
Okay.
Remember Superman with goggles, the movie or whatever they made?
No.
Superman's got goggles.
What?
He's got goggles because he's new and he's got goggles. Doesn't want to get wind and bugs in his eyes. No?
No.
Never mind.
Okay.
Anyway,
What's the question?
how does the Tomorrowverse relate to the DCU? And the DCU is James Gunn's new continuity.
Oh, okay. So what we're saying is this being used as a test bed.
I mean, it
or-
might be, but I
yeah.
don't think it started before James Gunn was close to coming on board.
Yeah, right,
The
right, right.
DCU is doing animated stuff. They're doing, for example, Creature Commandos, and that is connected to the DCU.
And
But
there's that Suicide Squad anime?
yeah, I don't think that's connected
No,
though.
uh-huh.
But so they're separate universes essentially.
Yeah, right,
yes. I don't know. I think they're going to keep probably these separate universes going because these movies do well on streaming and whatever, I presume.
Yeah.
And DVD sales. So yeah, the DCU continuity is different, but it will have animated stuff worked into
James,
it.
I love that.
Anyway, I know you could have answered that if you wanted to. You
No, I
just
didn't want to, though.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. Here's a couple of emails. Here's one from Joe.
Joe?
Who asked, should I quit my job?
Yes.
Hi, James and May. So I started listening in 2019 when I was working as a gym receptionist.
Oh,
I
my
would play the
God.
podcast over the speakers when it was closed, and I would have to do the final wipe down, and I've listened to your podcast for every job I've had since. When I was working as a night receptionist, I would listen to 3 or 4 podcasts in a row. So I feel as though every job I've had, you two have been there with me.
Yeah.
We have.
And you're quitting?
Well, my current job is probably the worst job I've ever had. I'm a shopping mall cleaner, which doesn't sound too hard until you realise on average you're doing 25,000 steps a day with more responsibilities than you can juggle in the time frame.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I listen to the Weekly Planet when I'm closing the public toilets. Trying to describe the condition the toilets are left in by the end of the day would be like listening to an audiobook of the Sony classic Morbius. So not great.
There's an audiobook for Morbius?
Yeah, maybe.
And then Morbius flew through the wind like a big packet of chips.
There was smoke coming off him or something.
Yeah,
or is that a metaphor? Is that in his mind?
He's a bat.
I don't know. Yeah, he doesn't turn into a bat though, does he? But he's like it. That's like a bat. So he's like a vampire.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not really an audiobook. It's just a guy like watching Morbius and explaining it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in this scene, he said Venom. So this, I guess, is in the Venom continuity, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard this guy has a robot arm, so I'm really excited to see what his robot arm's going to do.
Anyways, I'm Stephen Fry.
Yeah. Oh, it's Stephen Fry doing it. Wow, that's great. You get a good one. That's terrific. Joe says, I have no idea where I want my career to go. Do you think I should quit? And do you have any advice for finding a job that I will enjoy?
Oh, man. I mean, you got time, man.
Yeah, you got time.
You got time. I pivoted full-time into podcasting and YouTube at 33. And now I'm 34, so, it's...
It's going great.
It's really good.
Going really well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there is that thing. It's pretty standard advice, like do the thing you love, etc., and whatever, and then make people give you money for it.
That's true.
Which I think is true. I think there are more. I mean, depending what you like, there's so many opportunities now online for any business.
Oh, that's true.
You're not limited geographically for so many
true.
things, but obviously depending on what you do.
But I mean, also, if you do, I've had plenty of jobs where it's just kind of like, drudgery for a bit.
Sure.
And I'm not just talking about this podcast. But, focus on the positives while you're there. And I'm like, for me, there's nothing better than not dealing with anyone.
Absolutely.
And listening to a podcast and doing your own thing.
I've gone too far the other way, so now I'm like, I'm going to have to start dealing with some people because I'm weird and I think people don't like me in real life.
Sure. Absolutely.
But no, I understand this. Like, I, at that age and even older, like, did jobs where, you clean toilets.
It doesn't say what their age is here.
Oh, okay. We said 19 when he started listening and whatever.
Started listening in 2019.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't know then. Whatever. Well, whatever. But
it's never too late.
It's never too late.
George Clooney didn't start until he was 48
I mean, he was already
old.
a famous actor.
No, he didn't become a star till he was 58 years old.
What I'm saying was that I did a lot of jobs, like I'd clean toilets in McDonald's and whatever and all sorts of shit. And it's, and now look at me. I'm a huge success.
That's right.
And people are jealous. And if they don't like me, it's just that they're a hater.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And again, after this, you're going to go clean the toilets.
Yeah, well, I do still clean the toilets, yes.
At the local park.
That's right.
But you do that for fun.
No.
To remind you
it's
of your
not
roots.
fun.
Oh.
It's my OCD.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Thank you for the email.
You got regardless of your age, you got plenty of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
Definitely. But you better get started.
That's exactly right. Let's see. I got one more email, James.
Whoa.
Ready for that? Here we go. Ready for this?
Always.
Here's an email from Talia. I've been listening to the pod, been watching Mr. Sunday Movies videos on YouTube since 2015.
Not to brag, but that's me.
That is true, yeah. Mm-hmm. Somebody came up to me today and they said, are you Mr. Sunday Movies? And I said, I'm one of the Mr. Sunday Movies. There was a different person from the other person.
Is that what really happened?
Yes. I'm one of those Mr. Sunday Movies.
And then they left?
They're always talking about, yes.
Yeah.
I've been a weekly listener of Weekly Planet, even as I don't really watch comic book movies or TV shows so much anymore. Same,
man.
Same.
Yeah. Well, we try not to.
That's true. I'm transgender. I've been in and out of gender-affirming surgeries for the past year. The whole time I've been listening to the pod, and I'm so grateful for James and Mace's parasocial company when I was recovering in bed for days on end.
You're very welcome.
Also, I come from a family of members of entertainment unions, SAG-AFTRA being one of them. I'm a former UAW organizer, and my current day job involves assisting entertainment unions like IAT, SE, and Writers Guild of America. So I was seriously so stoked and impressed by your coverage of the strikes this year. It was truly some of the best coverage of the moment.
Happy to do it.
Solidarity from Talia.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Talia. And I'm glad we could be there on your journey.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
That's
little bit in your ears.
PS Live podcast for Hidden NYC. Do you have plans to do anything live in the States ever?
We probably should.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
no immediate plans.
Not currently, no.
Also, I don't know.
We tired.
I don't know if people don't like me.
Have a little.
I could go there and people would be like, we don't like you.
You should do
I'm like, well, why did you make me come here? Why did you buy all the tickets?
To mock you. And we tricked you into these stocks, and now we have all these Rotten Tomatoes.
What?
Yeah, that's right. We're going to hit you with laptops that have Rotten Tomatoes up on the browser. very heavy, these laptops.
That does sound heavy.
Maybe. We'll have a little lie down, then we'll think
Yeah,
about it.
honestly, I would like to, and I'm leaning more and more towards doing something like that.
Yeah.
But I have made no real effort to do so.
Are all the strikes over? I feel like there's maybe...
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff like some rumblings happening, and there's been like some.
Is there
been some unionizing? And
Yeah, but
things.
has there not been? I'm not sure the ink is dry and all the signatures, all the votes have happened in the.
Oh, you might be right on that.
In the
actually,
actors' strike,
yeah.
I think maybe that's not finished
Yeah,
yet.
I think you might be right on that. Yeah, I hate to admit it.
Yeah, that's right.
I hate to
I
do
got
it.
one.
I
It's
hate
been
it.
10 years and I got one. I'm right. Right.
All right, is that the show?
That's the whole show, folks. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it very much from the bottom of our.
We do, don't we?
If you want to get into contact with us, you can go to Weekly Planet.
Just go up to Mason and go, "Are you Mr. Sunday Movies?"
And I'll say, maybe. I'll never tell. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for leaving a 5-star review. Thank you for telling your friends about it. But the most important part is the 5-star review.
That's right.
And
This
if
one's
you leave
from-
one, James will read it out.
Absolutely, I will. Just like Chuck Dog 45, he says, a great starting point for mechanics. I recently purchased a beat-up 1978 El Camino, just like the movie, Mason.
Oh.
I had no idea that what I was going to do or how I was going to get it running again. The podcast helped me greatly by describing the ins and outs of fixing up a classic car. Now that I've been listening to them for a while, I have taken the steps and that they list at the end of each episode to fix up my car, and now my Camino runs like a dream. For all your mechanical questions or just some fun car trivia, check out Weekly Planet. Great podcast. Grab that gem. You're welcome.
That's right. You got to check that alternator.
You definitely got
You
to.
got to check that soon.
If you've left your alternator unchecked, we take no responsibility.
That's
for
right.
That. Yeah. And this one's from Tommy Joe Wagner, who says, it doesn't matter. Blah, blah, goo, goo, gaga, I'm a baby. So, yeah, that's interesting too.
Well, if you're a baby, remember,
Yeah.
check that alternator
That's right.
because you could be in a lot of trouble.
We will not be responsible if you do not check it.
That's right.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, you want to get into contact with us, you can go to weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com. You can also go to the Planet Broadcasting Great Mates Facebook group. You can go to the Weekly Planet Podcast subreddit and Discord for fun civil chats about podcasts and pop culture.
We're happy to let you.
Have a good time over there.
That's right.
Let's see. If you want to follow some people on the socials, first follow our friend Rob Collins. He's at Raw Collins on Twitter. He's at The Weekly Planet on Twitter. He'll keep you up to date on all things Weekly Planet
He has
news
to.
related. He has to. That's true.
Yeah.
Once he's finished deleting all those episodes that you don't want out in the public anymore. But follow him. Follow me, Wikipedia Brown on Twitter, Nick Mason on Instagram. James is Mr. Sunday Movies everywhere.
Everywhere.
If you want to support the show, you go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies. Chuck in a buck or an amount you would not miss.
That's right.
That's right. Or you can go to bigsandwich.co, $9 per month, bonus podcast, movie commentaries, early videos.
Wow.
Yeah,
This week we
right.
did a clickbait. You found a very interesting article.
That's
Was
right.
it the 50 most controversial something?
Decisions in Hollywood or
Yeah,
something.
so
We're
we
gonna,
chipped away at that.
Every once in a while, we're gonna do 10 of them and see how that
Yeah.
goes. And good time.
It's pretty fun.
I've
yeah.
decided we'd do an episode that didn't drive James to
I actually enjoyed that
despair.
one. It was
Yeah,
a lot of
so
fun.
there you go.
And also, what an insane article.
Imagine having fun on a podcast.
I could never.
That's right. Thank you to the Bruce and the Basilisk and Rackham for all our musical themes. T-shirts at tpublic.com. Or a mug or a pillar. Christmas is coming.
Christmas is coming.
Why don't you get a T-shirt for your friend
Yeah,
who doesn't know what the Weekly Planet is?
but that's fun for them.
And then you can be like, oh, you don't want it? I'll wear it.
And then they've given you a gift, and that's 2 gifts.
2 gifts.
You got 2 gifts.
The perfect crime.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Next week, what are we doing?
I think Doctor Who.
I love that.
The 3 Tenet episodes will be
Because
out.
there's been a couple out, one out already?
There's been 2. I've
Okay,
only seen
great.
the first one.
All right.
But yeah, there'll be the third
And
one.
there's going to
next
be a
week.
big time regeneration episode,
That's
I
right.
guess.
It'll go.
Nice.
Yeah, and then it'll turn to a new guy or whatever.
Love that.
And then everyone gets mad. And so on.
Yes,
And repeat.
the cycle.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.